Hey guys, how you doing? This is Cruz. Today we're going to go over time management hacks. So, if you've got an issue when it deals with trying to create more time in your life and not knowing where it's at, I'm going to go over 4 things, probably even a bonus, on what you could use right now to create more time and definitely have a lot less stress. So you ready? Let's just dig into this. So the very first thing when it deals with time management, and I've learned this quite a bit, you've got to create what I call a non-negotiable list. So a non-negotiable list, and that deals with what are your non-negotiables, and I wrote some notes down as well. What are your routines? What are the non-negotiable items that you've got to do? So a couple things that I do is, number one, I've got to always get a great sleep. So the number one thing with time management is like, look, man, can you go to sleep on time and wake up at a certain time? You don't have to be the 4:30 a.m. person or 5 a.m. or whatever that looks like, but are you tracking your sleep? And what I'm going to say is, on this ring, this is actually a computer that's on this ring. So if you look at this closely, you can actually probably even see no, you can't see it, but this is called an Oura ring. So if you go to, I believe it is ouraring.com, this will change your life. I would definitely check into it. It's super cheap, not too expensive at all. Get the cheapest one there is, but it's going to give you the ability to track your sleep so you can actually start creating some kind of routine. The other routine is, are you waking up in the morning? What time? What's your wake up time? The other thing is before you go to bed, stop watching an iPad or TV or your phone especially. You don't want to put anything in your space. You want to read or journal or whatever that looks like, so you can start thinking about and creating the next day as quickly as you can. So what's that non-negotiable? Definitely, I know some of you are like, oh, well, I got to go to the gym. I haven't had time to work out. Well, to those, you got to have some kind of movement within your body. It's only going to help with your time management. And what you want to do is create some kind of system that you're only doing the exact same ritual every single day. Even Saturday and Sunday, I'll do some kind of movement, what I'm actually doing and moving around, because it's only going to help you when it deals with saying, hey, I got to track this. I got to make sure I do this from this time to this time. So the other catch too on time management, get your clothes ready the night before. So the night before, make sure you get all your clothes laid out. Trust me, it's a lot less stress if you try to wake up, oh, I got to pick whatever color, and then it's just a disaster. The other thing is time tracking. So I'm huge into time tracking, and what I mean by that is you want to actually box everything out. Right? So if you're tracking your time, hey, from this time to this time, I'm doing this. From this time to this time, I'm doing what? What are you actually tracking? Meaning, do you have a stopwatch on your phone and you literally are saying, okay, from this time to this time, I'm only going to do this. And actually only do that thing for that time period. You'll be surprised if you are focused exactly what you're going to be able to do if you're just laser focused. So just say, hey, from this time to this time, I'm only going to do this. Have it in your calendar. If a calendar is a big issue for you, start off with a notebook. Whatever you can do, just do that one thing. So the other thing is, what I love is Google Calendar. To me is amazing. And I kind of have 3 different ways that I actually track everything. I'm going to tie this into also what I call the 100 units for time. So 100 units for time ties into my calendar is because the way I use this, let's say I have my Google Calendar, and that's for my hard appointments. That's my appointments. That's usually whatever is on my day agenda. I go through that. I have my written one because I write a lot of notes. A lot of things happen throughout the day. I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas, and I have a written planner that I actually still handwrite. And I just handwrite it in there, and then later on, if it needs to go as an appointment, goes in my calendar. Appointments only go in my calendar, right? Then my handwritten, that's kind of my thought process. What am I doing? How am I doing? Something new came out of the day. What does that look like? And then I've got my 100 units for time. And what that looks like, this is an old executive idea that people use all the time. So every 30 minutes, what you're going to do is you will track exactly what did you do for that 30 minutes. So you basically put a timer on your watch, right? And then let's say, and I'll put it up here, let's say it's, and I still write military time, so from 800 to 8:30, what did you actually do? And was it a value or was it a waste? And I circle it. If it was value, it was value. If it was a waste, it was a waste. If you're actually checking social media, you're like, oh my God, I'm checking too much social media. That's a waste. It's a waste of time. If whatever you're doing needs to be of value as often as possible. And when you do the 100 units for time, that means 100 units, 130-minute segments throughout your day. At the end of about 3.5 days, you can go back and you can actually look at exactly what did you do for those 100 units. How many of those units were wasted? How many of those units actually created value? Remember, if you're creating value, you're moving forward in that goal, whatever that goal is, if it's business or personal or whatever that looks like, you're only moving in a positive direction if you're giving yourself value and you're putting out value. Make sense? So when it deals with that, track your units. So you want to track again every 30 minutes for the next 4 days. And then what you do is you track it, you assess it. You assess it and then you do it again and say, okay, now I got to get it a little bit better. How do I do that again? And to make it a part of your routine. So the catch is, and I'm going to make this really short because I know we're always pressed for time because we never have time for anything, right? And the other thing is this. The last two things I could honestly say has been the biggest game changer. And that is you've got to have discipline and you have to have, I think I'm spelling this right, consistency. So whenever you have discipline and consistency, you merge those things together, you are going to have a positive result in something. I don't know what that is, right? Only you will know that. But if you add just one of those 4 or 5 or 6 things that I did today, do you think you're going to be in a better place in a month from now or in a worse place in a month from now? You got to ask yourself that. Well, if I'm going to be in a better place, well, let me start getting to work then. Let me start doing what's my non-negotiables? What's things that I got to get done? What's my goal in 6 months from now? What does that look like? I know for me, when we started the real estate business back up again, I was retired out of doing this for quite a while. And it wasn't like retirement because I chose to. I kind of chose to, but kind of not. In a sense of, I was like, man, I was up to other things. I was learning new things. I was doing real estate. Been doing it now for 19 years from part-time to full-time. And so when I was retired out of it and came back into it, I had to ask myself, what are the new rituals that I need to do to be successful in this business? Well, my first ritual was like, look, man, I've got to get a great sleep. I've got to start tracking my time. I've got to actually not only work out every morning, but I've also got to journal in the morning. And one of the things, too, I'm going to tell you guys this, the other thing, the big secret, and I've been doing this now for 8 months straight, is I meditate every single day. And so for me, if you're a person of faith, great. If you're not, whatever. But I meditate and pray. But there's a difference between meditation and prayer. Prayer is whenever you're speaking, right? You're speaking, you're asking for whatever God that you worship. For me, it's like, so I'm speaking, right? But the meditation is actually when you shut up and you be quiet. So I actually do that 20 minutes every single day. I could probably do another video on that later on. But that has been one of the major game changers from everything that we've done. From our mission to our purpose to our principles to our vision, everything has transpired from really that meditation time. Because I believe when you shut up and you actually listen, instead of talking, and don't put something in your ears, and we're always listening to something else. We always got something in our ear, we're always trying to read something, always trying to just do something else other than just shut your mouth, go outside possibly, or sit down and just put a timer on for 20 minutes. Let me tell you something, if you don't have 20 minutes to sit down and just shut your mouth, what kind of life are you really have? Like, really ask yourself that. You don't have a life. So, hopefully this helped. Hopefully it wasn't too harsh, but I'm just being honest with you guys. Create the time to really better yourself because you've only got one shot at this. So, that's time management hacks. Anyway, if you got something out of this, smash that like button and tell me what, any other videos that you guys would recommend that we do. Talk to you. Bye.